Edgeless Horseman here. It's November the 21st, 2022. Not too much stuff going on. Just an average market day, pretty much. Dollar up, commodities down on average, except I guess natural gas, bonds, who cares, crypto going the way it's supposed to go, and stocks unchanged. Gold down a bit, whatever. Some companies have news out. Dolly Warden drilled up some pretty good holes. Other than that, if there's no news out, nothing really changed at all for your juniors, except that people woke up today and felt more like selling than buying. I mean, it's just unreal how many people think this take cue from the markets. Like, why is my junior down? Why? Because people are idiots. I mean, same reason they crash 70% or more is the same reason they go up 200-300%. It's just mind-boggling. I mean, it's. I mean, it feels like it's too good to be true. Just how easy it is to actually beat this market over the long term. In the short term, it's incredibly hard to beat this sector. Incredibly hard. Medium term, pretty hard as well. Long term, Jesus. It's like stealing candy from a baby. It's like you that's all you need to know. I mean, I'm super bored with this market. Not because juniors are, still not. I mean, yeah, sure, some have actually bumped off the low, still up, I don't know, 30 to 50%, whatever. It's like, that's not why I'm bored. It's just that I really don't see how I could ever lose in this sector. And that's the boring part. Sure, many stories won't, let's say, turn into 5 or 10 baggers or make big discoveries. Like I saw someone complain today. It's like, yeah, but there's a very few real discoveries in this section. Like, who cares? Do you think there were a bunch of discoveries when all juniors went up 1,000% here, or 500% here, or 400% here? No, there were no more discoveries back then. That's just how this market works. That's just how this sector works. It's like everybody comes up with these reasons. It's just I lose money, or I can't beat this sector because I'm not part of all the super successful discoveries. This is Bear Creek Mining. This isn't a discovery story. Haven't been for quite some time. Still, you could have made a boatload just trading this. So I don't think people realize just how simple-minded, let's say, the marginal investor is. Everyone that is looking for excuses to sell down here and take cue from Mr. Market, my junior is down today. All my juniors are down today. What does the market know? What does the market know? No, I better sell. They're going to be back buying the same juniors near the tops because the market to them is suggesting that, hey, this is a good time to buy because you could have made a lot of money in this sector. You could have made a lot of money in the sector, or early birds made a lot of money in the sector. So it's time to get in. This is going to go to the moon, and I better sell here because it's going to go down forever. It's just, I don't know. It's just incredibly bored. It's like you start off, or you start out, investing in stocks or whatever. It's like you learn, or they say that's like the market is so hard to beat, etc. Sure, if we were at these levels, then it would be pretty hard to find something that actually shouldn't go down and stay down unless it was actually a major discovery. But from these levels, like, come on. I'm pretty sure I could take anyone's portfolio, almost anyone's portfolio who's listening right now, copy that portfolio and throw away the password to the account and come back in like 2 years, and I would probably 3x the S&P. I mean, it's just, this is not when the market is hard. This is when the market is hard. Now it's so easy, it's boring. I'm getting bored out of my mind. Because we've had so much time to take. I mean, it's not like, you know, I mean the flash crash in the 2020, the COVID crash. Yeah, that, you know, irrational discount in miners didn't last too long until it, you know, corrected itself and probably overshot a bit. But this, I mean, Jesus, it's been dirt cheap from, or very cheap from here probably. I mean, it's just, you know, months of this. And it still gets cheaper because now we're at the, well, I guess, I mean, December is the end of the tax loss selling, or tax loss selling season. So, I mean, this should at least continue for another month. But it's like, Jesus, we've had all the time in the world to steal everything we want. I literally can't see how, if one just grasps how stupid this sector is, and stops, let's say, coming up with excuses why you should sell down here and buy up here. It's like, take it for what it is. People think that their favorite juniors are efficiently priced. Somebody knows something. Yet you saw the crypto sector or crypto market cap reach $4 trillion. And you have FTX, which appears to be like a 40 to 50 billion fraud, basically. Might be the largest one in history. And people see that. It's like, yeah, you know, I mean, personally, I didn't like crypto. I think almost all cryptos are going to go extinct. And that's how I at least avoided that thing. But it's like, if you know that it can get that irrational, that $4 trillion was the market cap of you know, 20,000 cryptos or whatever. Why on earth would anyone think that for some reason, and you know, with Tesla at P, I don't know, 200 or something, or even more than that, I think. But for some reason, people are dead sure, or a lot of people are dead sure that like their juniors are priced correctly. Or maybe they were like, yeah, you know, 5% here or there or something. Oh, it went up 10%. I better sell. Or it's like, yeah, it goes down from absolute dirt cheap levels to, I mean, basically brain dead cheap levels where we are now. And it's like, yeah, market knows something. If there are no news out, nothing has changed for your companies. Absolutely nothing. Yes, gold, paper gold goes, today it's down 0.9%. And your favorite junior miner, gold miner, is going to be in production, if ever, in 10 years. So who the F cares? And it's not what drives this sector anyway, because gold certainly isn't down here. Gold is here. It's the same level it was in, I don't know, early 22. In early 22, okay, except for the flash crash, or take this, July, okay? July of 2020, where's July of 2020? Well, around here. Yeah, gold is off a bit. Gold is off $100. Yes, inflation has gone up, etc. But it certainly hasn't. Gold certainly has not gone down, or silver for that matter, didn't go down 91%. 91% would be if gold went to, let's take an arbitrary here. Well, I'm running out of short, but you get my point. Sure, there's leverage, yada yada yada, but still, it's like it should be beyond obvious already. It's like these have disconnected anyway. The gold sector is disconnected from the gold mining sector is disconnected from the gold sector, and the junior miners have disconnected from the larger miners, and the larger miners are cheap. Juniors are the cheapest they've been since 2015-16 and the global financial crisis of 2008-9. Go ahead and, you can explain that, but it's certainly not a rational explanation. No, it's okay. A trend has formed. Oh, you have a obvious downtrend. Okay, people think better not be in this sector, and then they sell. And then when you see red, everybody is playing the game of guess where price is going to be tomorrow. So if it's down, they sell because they think it's going to go down tomorrow. On a up day, they buy because they think it's going to go up tomorrow. And this sector, I mean, you probably would do better just and you bought on any down days and sold on any up days. I mean, literally just doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. I mean, that would probably work in the long run. I mean, I don't think that's a brilliant strategy. And it's like, again, this chart here says absolutely nothing about next week or next month. Or maybe not even the next 6 months. But it says everything about the long term. But nobody plays this game. Everybody wants to make it hard. They can never stomach. I mean, they can't buy if they think a stock is going to go down tomorrow. I mean, literally, you can see that everywhere. And it's like right now, everybody's, oh, dilution. Like, who cares? I mean, from, let's say Bear Creek diluted by 100%. That would get this stock up here, relatively speaking. That would still be pretty goddamn low. I mean, I'm excited about the companies I own. Well, I'm also excited about the sentiment swing, of course. But I'm excited about the companies I own. I think some are already undervalued by, let's say, 200%. Just based on what's known today. Some might not be that undervalued based on what is confirmed. Some might be undervalued, very undervalued based on what's probably gonna occur the next 10 to 20 news releases over the next 2 years. Let's say my base case is that a junior doubles the ounces in 2 years. But it's not pricing in anywhere near that happening, even though it's like, looks very probable or whatever. I mean, that's really what it is. Like, people can't trust themselves long enough. People cannot fathom that something they own can stay cheap or even get cheaper if it's already cheap. So if you bought here, which historically is a great buy, they can't fathom that was a good buy, and sooner or later they will sell out. Even though, like, the Fidelity report showed their best investors are dead people. Most people, if they had a stroke or became a vegetable, whatever, their portfolio would probably do a lot better from here than if they managed it themselves. Why? Because they couldn't play the short-term game of guess where the price is going to go tomorrow and base all their decisions in the now on that. It's like, I already know I'm going to make a lot of money. Well, pretty much. I mean, the world could end and all of that, and I could end up, making big mistakes or something. That's certainly possible. But if I stick to the common sense thing, don't go all in any one stock, etc. There's no way I'm not gonna crush the S&P 500, unless the mining sector goes away and the world ends. I don't see that very likely. Yeah, it's just what it is. It's like you have to come to grips with just how easy this sector can be. And right now it is super easy. So easy it's mind-numbingly boring. That's how it is. That is just the nature of how markets work. And you can see I've showed a lot of graphs from other commodity sectors. They get absolutely slaughtered, then they go up. The more slaughtered they are, they tend to go up even more. And let's not even. I mean, we could talk about the supply-demand issues. I mean, COMEX is pretty much still getting drained for both or from both gold and silver. LME inventories across base metals near the lows. That can't get fixed. The worse these mining sectors get, the worse the supply picture is going to get. So that's a tailwind pretty much. If money would be all over this sector and capital readily available, supply would be coming on quicker. The fact that this sector is so crap right now and has been for quite some time is what is going to force the bull to come forward. You even see recently you see US government agencies and Canadian, and I think European too, or starting to. I mean, they're basically giving out grants, free money to mining companies to bring on supply of critical metals. That is just incredible. What does that say? Obviously there's a supply issue and the sector is not, there's not enough capital, so even the governments feel that they need to actually inject capital to get things moving. Yeah, the resource sector, the mining sector, based on the supply-demand pictures and the valuations, and just again, it's like any sentiment indicator, whatever. I mean, I don't buy based on sentiment. I buy based on valuations. I mean, you can find bigger no-brainers. If I were all in crypto, I would be scared to death. If I were all in, the broader markets, I wouldn't be too happy about it. Yeah, they've gone down, but it's like they're not really cheap, the broader stock markets. This sector has, an increasingly good supply-demand picture, and they are dirt cheap. In no point in history has a cyclical sector stayed this cheap forever. But it's just extremely frustrating to know that you are right and see how clueless everyone else is, if you know what I mean. Because if this sector wasn't clueless, especially the high quality juniors wouldn't be as cheap as they are today. And it's like, that is the essence of investing. You have to see something the market doesn't see, or the marginal investor, the 95 basically never beat an index, and you have to stick it out until it finally dawns on them. And then we form a trend, and as soon as a trend forms, everybody's, I mean, you can see how this sector works. It's like, as soon as a trend starts, everybody wants to get in. So the first stage is like, downtrend, bottom at who knows. Sooner or later an uptrend will form. And then they will just keep rising. Just for the simple fact that people like to buy something that has gone up and they think will go up tomorrow. And if it has gone up for months on end, they really, really think it's going to go up tomorrow. So they take more and more risk. They care less and less about valuations. Up here they think how much they can make. Down here they think about how much additional money they can lose on paper. But it's still, I mean, it never changes. Everybody's literally trying to guess what a sector or a stock or gold and silver is going to do tomorrow. Yet the most obvious way to beat the sector, just from looking at a chart like this, becomes abundantly clear. And what should become abundantly clear is like, if you have a time horizon of 6 months, forget about it. If your time horizon is a week or a month, like most people, yeah, you'll never make any money in this sector, pretty much. Not any big money. If your time horizon is, let's say, two years, you should easily be able to beat this sector. Like always, I have absolutely no idea where any stocks are going to trade tomorrow or next week or next month. But I'm pretty sure that within 2 years we'll be up a lot from these levels. And even if you listen to Felix Zulauf, for example, he expects early 2023 to be a bottom in the gold price. And then basically for the rest of the decade, there's going to be a bull market. Sure, I can see that. It's like, if you just, when you just think about it, it's like, okay, miners are dirt cheap now. We're at a tax loss selling season where they get even more artificially cheap, if you know what I mean. I mean, they can be already rational cheap, and then we get basically bureaucracy or tax planning that's going to lead to even more selling. That's just something goes from irrationally cheap to rationally cheap plus an artificially cheap discount. I mean, that's where, from those levels is where you can have absurd returns. I think we will have absurd returns from here. Again, I don't see how I could possibly underperform this market over the long term. And that was, I outperformed it before I even really understood just how dumb it is and how much sentiment drives it. If you hold juniors right now and they go down, you're not dumb. That is a market that is becoming increasingly dumber. You're not wrong. The market is wrong. We get paid when the market agrees with us. Opportunity is when the market disagrees with us. You can't have big returns if you can't buy here. I mean, what is buying? You're saying these stocks are undervalued and should go up at some point in time. Mr. Market is saying these are efficiently priced at any given time. We are betting that Mr. Market is fearful, full of crap, brain dead right now, Yada yada yada. That is the bet, and I'm 100% sure. Let's say 99, in order not to jinx it. But when you hear, Rick Rule say, well, the gold mining sector is the cheapest relative to gold he has seen in 49 years, I think that means something. What he's saying is it would be the most stupid time to sell gold miners in 49 years. But that doesn't stop most people from selling down here. And if the market doesn't agree with us tomorrow, meaning goes up, they'll feel stupid. And if it goes down 2 months straight from here, they'll feel even more stupid. Yet, fact of the matter is that if this wasn't the bottom, personally I can see that we're already bottom. Not every stock, obviously. And there's gonna be, like always, some juniors that are drilling, and it's like, yeah, the market is knows that they're gonna need to raise money, and everybody's gonna try to front run that and time that and yada yada yada. That won't matter. I can almost assure you, if it's a legit project, if they dilute 10, 20 or 30% down here, whatever, I don't think you're gonna be complaining when we reach these sentiment levels again. That's just how it is. Bottom line, this sector is incredibly stupid right now. It's almost impossible right now to not beat this if you have at least a 2-year time frame. If you have a 1-week time frame, you lose money. If probably 1 month, probably lose money. 3 months, well, let's say 70% chance you're gonna lose money. 6 months, maybe a coin toss, given that historically speaking, it doesn't trade this low for more than, 2-3 months. 2-year time frame. If you can hodl this sector for 2 years, I would be extremely surprised if you were not up a lot. That is my strategy. Because again, this sector becomes easy if you have a time horizon that is, let's say, 2 years. And that doesn't mean that every company will be a success, yada yada yada. But if you own quality companies right now, they're severely undervalued, just based on what is confirmed even, or at least based on what is known, and you think, hey, this company, you're excited about the company, hey, this could go up 200% in value over the next 2 years. So you have that in addition to this sentiment roadmap. You really have stacked odds in your favor. I think if I held some stocks from here for 2 years, I think I will at least have a 5 to 10 bagger. If I have 2 10% positions in 2 that become, let's say, a 5 bagger. That alone would basically make up the whole portfolio as of today. So the odds are just extremely stacked in our favor. You don't need anywhere near every story to work out if you're invested from these levels. No, it's just incredible. The risk reward is absurd. This shouldn't be possible in our sector. But human nature never changes. And human nature is ever changeable. Human nature won't change, but it is human nature to always change. So it's like, stop taking everything personal. I bet we will have a lot of misses or whatever. I bet a lot of stores won't work out super well. But that doesn't change the fact that some stores that have changed nothing from this point to this point, or especially in this time period, still, go down or from here to there. Let's say they go down 60% and up 300%. Yet nothing has changed for the companies. So like you can't give the excuse, well, I mean, so few juniors work out. Yeah, we already know that. Still, the entire sector crashes and then goes up hundreds of percent, the juniors that are still there. So you can't have that as an excuse that, oh, I'm so bad at stock picking that I can't even use sentiment. My goal is to use both sentiment and stock picking. Because if you only use sentiment, you actually have to at least sell high after you buy low. Because this is, again, a trading sardine, pretty much, or has been. And there's a, let's say a downsloping trend because they do dilute. But if you have, again, it's like if you have alpha plays that keep growing, they go up and, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. They still fluctuate like crazy with the sector, but they at least have a trend that is hopefully up. But main point is like you can come up with a bunch of excuses why you can't beat this sector, but it's like, ask yourself, how would you play this short? Do you have to be a great stock picker? Do you have to be a geologist or a mining engineer to appreciate the value of just realizing how this market works? No. You don't. So it's like, do yourself a favor, stop bitching about this sector, realize for what it is, because if we didn't have this, we wouldn't have the incredible rallies. If we didn't have the incredible rallies, we wouldn't have the huge crashes. If a sector only went like this, never really got overvalued or undervalued, it would be really hard to outperform the sector or anyone really. Well, kind, I guess. I mean, you would have to literally be a stock picker if you were to outperform. But if you have this kind of volatility, I mean, that's the best gift we can ask for. This volatility opens up huge opportunities for the disciplined and patient investor who understand that, I mean, basically this is just showing oscillations of when people want to buy or sell. Again, it's like Bear Creek didn't change a lot over this time period. Still prices went, up 300%, down 70%, up 300%, down 70%. Nothing really changed for Bear Creek Mining over this period. Except that people go from wanting to sell to wanting to buy a lot, to wanting to sell a lot, to wanting to buy a lot. Yeah, as always, it's like, I mean, watch the World Cup, get some hobbies, let's say. This market might not, or this sector might not get rational for months still. We have no idea. It's just that we know that the pendulum always swings. And stop taking everything so personal. If you're down 50% at these lows, how big of a problem was that within 2 years? No problem at all. 50% is like a cakewalk from these levels. This was 605%. You could have been down 70%, you would have made money. So if you're not down like, I don't know, 80%, I actually don't think it's going to be a problem if you can just hold this for, let's say, 2 years from here. I think you will handedly beat the, uh, S&P or whatever. If you're down 50%, I think I mean that's going to be a cakewalk. Might even start after this tax loss selling season. Or if Felix Zulauf is correct, it's like yeah, okay, let's say Q1 of 2023. So you have like I don't know, 4 months, up to 4 months left to like let's say bargain shop this no-brainer sector, no-brainer valuations. And when we're up here, I mean, like always, everybody regrets looking at hindsight. I mean, just some juniors recently, they're up like 40%. All of a sudden, you see people say, oh, I should have bought when they, 2 weeks ago, when it was even cheaper. Because typically not much changed except that they went up 40%. Yeah, exactly. Up 40%, maybe no news almost. So no change, except the sentiment changed. Yeah, good old rant again. But yeah, apparently I need to keep repeating this. And it's like, believe me, I mean, I'm getting bored to death right here because not because they're underperforming. It's just that that the market is so bad and so easy to beat long term. It's not like this was just a day of like undervaluation. You had one day to like let's say put money at work when there was like almost no chance in hell that you were overpaying and making a mistake. No, we have almost been mistake proof for months. Up here it's like almost impossible not to overpay. Same here. This is where it's extremely hard not to make a mistake. Unless you have, unless you're a really good stock picker and literally can like, yeah, okay, we're at a high, it's priced in a lot, but I think junior X is gonna. I mean, there are some juniors that are actually way up from this time period here because they created so much value that even though this is an retarded market right now, the value creation has been so relentless that they've gone flat or actually gone up. But up here, stock picking becomes increasingly important, and the market becomes incredibly hard. Down here, it's like you can teach a monkey to beat this sector. It's like just try to, let's say, not put money in companies that are probably going to go bankrupt if this goes on for 6 months. And dilution is not the same as bankruptcy, because some progress, like, yeah, they're going to raise money, but it's like, they're not going to go bankrupt because they have good projects, let's say. Or even if some goes bankrupt, who cares? If the rest of if I don't know, 70% of your portfolio goes up like 400% in 2 years. Yeah, you could take a 30% loss even if you just had 30% in the like crappiest of crap. It's just unreal. It's like, I mean, it feels too good to be true, but that's just because human nature is almost too dumb to be true. Or too predictable, let's say. Again, we saw crypto at 4 trillion. If crypto can reach 4 trillion, this sector can be just absurdly undervalued. Because it's not even like, the supply and demand picture is looking really bad and there's going to be a bunch of mines. No, it's not even that. Or in the case of gold and silver, well, the financial system is doing so well and there's no problems out there and the currencies are, pristine and intact, and the integrity of whatever government, state or finances is like top notch. No, it's the opposite. So we have like every macro tailwind we can ask for. Still, it's this cheap. I mean, it's just incredible. It's like I got to find something else to do. I don't know if I can stomach this, being in this sector forever, because it's just upsetting how easy it is. It is upsetting. It's like, It would be harder probably to play chess against some random on the internet. Poker was for sure harder than this. Or poker should be a lot harder than this if you just understand this chart. Just understand how human behavior works in when it comes to investing. Stock picking, again, that's great if you can learn some geology, yada yada yada, but you literally don't have to be a geologist or a mining engineer. I mean, some geos and mining engineers are like pretty crap at investing. And the investors I think are the best, they're not even mining engineers or geos. They're just really good at investing. They really know how humans work, how sentiment works, and just have infinite patience. There's like maybe at least one guy who I think is really, really good. Not a geo, not a mining engineer, but he has like infinite patience. And he has superb results just from having infinite patience. And he's super smart as well, but it's like, yeah, he trusts himself. It's like, okay, this stock is this cheap. Sooner or later, this sector is gonna, someone is gonna find this stock, or someone, this sector is gonna change or whatever. It's like, I'm gonna make a ton of money. And sometimes I think he's, waits, I don't know, at least a year in some stocks. It's like, nothing happens for a year and then boom, he's up like 400%. I mean, well worth it. My goal is 50% per year. And that sounds too low to most people, because they want to be in the stock that goes up 100% tomorrow. And still they end up blowing themselves up, because they, again, are in the game of guessing where the stock price is going to go tomorrow or next week. I don't play that game. And 50% per year, if you can compound at that rate, there's no way you're going to be a millionaire in a hurry, pretty much. Yeah, hope, again, you got something out of this. I didn't touch on any stocks, I think, except Bear Creek Mining. But I'll try to get more into that soon as well. Maybe what I'm looking at, etc. But it's like, this is way more important than any stock pick. This is like, if you just get this, you can be a pretty bad stock picker. But if you don't get this, and you're not a great stock picker, you'll probably, that's a recipe for disaster. So, but if you can do both, like, you have a firm grasp of like how this sector works, that up here everybody's sure, everybody thinks owning miners is a good idea. Now everybody thinks owning juniors is a bad idea. If you just get that, it's like you can actually follow through that and realize that, again, a short like this says nothing about the short term, but everything about the long term. Then you'll do well. Again, assuming you actually have the discipline to stick to it and have the patience to wait for the big payoff. Because remember, it's like, if you're way ahead of the market, it's going to take a lot of time before the herd actually catches on. Yeah, thanks for listening. Not investing advice, quote. Bye.